right-hand fighters. Is everybody right-handed? All right, good. More advanced and more offensive is having your right foot forward for right-handed fighters. Your sword arm is a little more out in front of you, and I'm not going to go over that today. It's just going to be more of the basic stance. So you want to have your feet shoulder width apart, bend at the knees, right? Shield. If you don't have a shield in your hand, you don't need one. But always pretend you have a shield up when you're doing any pel work or practicing sword shots. Anytime you're throwing a shot, you want to have your defense up and ready, right? So you're never going to go in like this. So, right? So you want to be fairly close to your pel, right? I see a lot of people doing pel work back here, but you want to really be really close to it, right? And my suggestion when you do pel work is to do it all slow. You never do full speed pel work. Anytime you see somebody doing this stuff on a pel, they're hurting themselves because you're going to have some serious injuries if you do that on a regular basis. So I want to see everyone doing this stuff at this speed, really slow. What you're going to do is you're going to learn muscle memory, all right? And that's the whole idea behind pel work is muscle memory. It's not about how hard you can throw a shot. So always remember that when you're doing pel work. So everybody, spread out a little bit. I'm not even going to use a pel because a lot of us, you don't really need a pel. You're really just kind of shadowing. So everybody get in their stance, face your imaginary opponent. Right, sword on your shoulder. Right, so the idea behind the basic flat snap is what we call an onside shot, meaning that you're throwing your sword to the onside. This is the onside, and this is the offside. Okay, so onside shot to the head. You want to tip. Someone's going to have their shield, and it's going to be up like this. All right. So anytime you throw a shot like this, flat is going to hit the shield. So the idea is to get your shot above the shield, all right, parallel to the way the shield is being held, right? So the idea is to throw your arm, turn your hips in. Everyone turn your hips in. You got your sword, turn your hips, all right? So all your power is going to be generated from your hips and your lower body, and then your arm is just going to guide the shot. Right? So when the arm comes in, I use the bowl of soup method. So you basically have your bowl of soup and you're holding your bowl of soup. So you're turning your wrist into your opponent, towards your opponent. Your sword should come across your face, across your opponent, and the end of the sword should hit him, just like this, bowl of soup, like that. All right. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get over that shield. So the tip of the sword should be below your hand. And it's almost like a punching out like that, you see? So you're punching it out. You're not actually throwing the sword at them. You're not throwing your hand at them. You're throwing the sword at their head. Okay? All right, so everyone do it real slow. Turn your hips when you throw. And back. When you throw a shot, you always want to either relax and come back up high, or what I do is I just relax and drop it and bring it back to my shoulder. You always want to be in a rested position when you're doing pel work, when you're doing sword work. So practice turning your hip, don't throw the shot, and then extend.
Got to that.
All right, so you see, after you throw that shot, after you hold that bowl of soup and throw your onside shot, your hips are cocked and turned in, right? So now they're cocked and ready to throw an offside shot. So when you throw the offside, you throw your onside, and your hips are cocked, and you turn them back, and the sword goes over your head, and then back around to the offside. So throw an onside, and then you turn your hips back around and throw an offside. Right, you feel that? Everybody see what I'm doing? Remember, you want to turn your hips. Every time you're on the pel, you think about your hips first. I don't really care where the shot lands. You want to think about turning your hips into each shot. Your muscles are going to remember to do that when you're fighting. Now, everything you do on a pel, and every time you practice slow work, you want to exaggerate all your movements. So when you're turning your hips, you're fully turning your hips. You're throwing your arm out, and you're really, making it obvious. When you're actually fighting, you're probably not going to throw a shot just like that, but your muscles are going to remember to it, and you're going to do it, and it might not be exactly the way you had it, but you're going to generate that power, and you're going to be able to target and get over that shield.